So like we've done before, we're going to look at closings that happened in the last few days and how much they actually closed for based on their asking price. And of course, the first one did not. It was listed for 284.9 and it closed for 260,000. Listed for 244, closed for 235. So that's two in a row that closed for under asking. This one closed for $5,000 under asking. $5,000 over asking. Asking price $15,000 under asking. Interesting. Over asking. Under asking. Over asking. Under asking. Under asking. Under asking. Under asking. Under asking. Holy fuck, over asking. Over asking. Over asking by a lot. Under. Over by a lot. Over. This is interesting. So we have a mixture of things here, and this is something that we spoke about before if you've watched previous videos of mine, where I explained that it's all in the marketing and it's all in the initial approach to pricing. So as you can see, this went under contract in 3 days for $40,000 over asking price. It's impossible to determine why that even happened exactly. It could have been a buyer that maybe missed out on 2 or 3 or 4 different properties before. And when they found this one, they were just like, fuck it. We are going all in on this and we are not going to miss out on another one. There's definitely a level of motivation and desperation that occurs after some time. Typically, you have to worry about appraisal when you do things like this. An appraisal is when the bank sends out a third party to determine the value of the property because they want to make sure that they're not letting you borrow more money than what the property is actually worth. So if this property did not appraise for whatever reason, then the buyer would have to come in and cover the difference. Because the bank, let's say the price for $420, the bank will only let you borrow up to $420 minus your down payment. So the buyer in this case would have had to come up with $20,000 out of pocket in order to cover the difference. Now, I'm just making assumptions here. I'm just letting you know that it's good to come in aggressive if it's something that really works for you, not only the property itself, but also financially. But you do run that risk of an appraisal coming in low. So you have to be mindful of that. But when you price, let's say the property is worth $450, right? Let's say the price for $445 or $450 or whatever. When you are a seller in this market that has very little inventory and you price this aggressively, you create a situation for yourself in which you will have a ton of showings. And what's going to likely happen, not always, is you're going to have a lot of offers coming. The only thing we can do is set ourselves up for that situation. Increase the possibility of creating that situation for us. So that's just something to be aware of. And why is that important to you as a seller is because when you have a lot of offers, if this seller has to go in and buy another property, you want to be able to find a buyer that not only gives you the most amount of money, you want the best terms as well. You want a buyer that is not in a rush to close on your property because maybe they have somewhere to live. Maybe they live with their parents and there's no rush to get out or to go into this property, which allows you the flexibility of being able to find your next place without being in a complete rush, right? Obviously, there's always going to be urgency there, but you want to be able to create that situation for yourself. That's why it's so important. I end up talking a lot in these videos. I'm sorry. You just don't want to be the property that sits on the market for too long in this market because buyer's mentality will always be what is wrong with that property if it doesn't sell. Yesterday I posted a market update. It was for December, so the one for January, it hasn't come out yet. It should come out a week or two. And the average days on market for a property is 37 days, or was 37 days for December. So you don't want to be the property that sits much more than that on the market, right? But yeah, that is the list to close of today, February 1st, and this is for the last 3 days. So the last 3 days of January, that's the activity that we've had on the market. That once again, this is New Haven County. If you want a different city, just let me know. Love you guys. Bye.